welcome to the Lincolnshire Buzzcast, a podcast where we take a real-life humorous look at life in Lincolnshire, as well as interview some amazing people who are doing some fantastic things in the county. I'm Lizzie.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Hannah.
So, at the time of recording this podcast, it was Pancake Day yesterday. I'm assuming you all celebrated.
Of course.
Biggest day of the year in the Carter calendar. Biggest day.
Now, we've had a lot of food debates in the past, and I don't want to turn this into a food podcast because it isn't, but it appears to be. But what's your topping of choice?
Let's not get started, mate, because I had a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. So, I asked, I'm gonna rant now. I asked my other half, I was like, so Pancake Day, it's a religious thing, yeah? And he's like, yeah, it's when you eat all the like fatty leftover stuff that's in your cupboards before Lent, because that's what you're supposed to give up. You're supposed to give up something for Lent. And I was like, oh, right, well, I've kind of gone against that because I've just rushed out and bought a full tub of a hazelnut spread. And now I'm not going to use it again. So now I've built up extra crap and rubbish in my cupboards because people had obviously already had the same idea that I wanted to have a nice healthy one with like banana and chocolate spread on mine, but there was no bananas left, so I just had to have chocolate spread. And because it was no, it's even more of a letdown. Okay, so it couldn't have bananas because they'd sold out. Then when I got back from the shop, because it was so cold last night, got back from the shop and the chocolate spread had pretty much solidified, so I had to have pancakes with chunks of chocolate spread, not nice spreadable gooiness, just chunks.
Did the warmth of the pancake melt the spread for you? Because that tends to happen.
No.
Are we having our own cold pancakes? Because
no. Let's not even go there with the pile of cold pancakes. You clearly have to eat them as soon as they come out of the pan. Like, I have never had a pancake day where I've actually sat down and eaten them. Maybe I'm just a vulture, but I always stand at the side of the cooker waiting for them. It's like a little conveyor belt. So these were warm pancakes, but maybe I would just
have them out of the frying pan into her mouth.
Yeah. Hop into my mouth.
Well, no, I do sit down for it, but I've got the whole family to serve my pancake up to. So I'm the one doing the pancaking, and then I take it to the table, and that's where all the stuff is to put the pancake things on. The kids are. So I do sit down for my pancake. Was it just banana though? Was you looking for alternative fruit like berries?
Well, I kind of wanted berries, but as you know, my dogs are raw fed, and I kind of felt bad taking the dried blueberries that were for the dogs' dinner and putting them on my dinner.
On our one, I had blueberries I prepped for this day. I had blueberries, I had strawberries, and I had bananas. In fact, I had like lots of bananas, and maybe I took your bananas.
You did take my bananas! You took my bananas!
We live in a different part of Lincolnshire, different shops. I can't have taken your bananas.
How do you know? I may have driven for miles to find some bananas. I didn't though, because it's locked down and we're not allowed.
But so we have this thing in my family, this tradition that on Pancake Day, every meal has a pancake in it in some way, shape or form, which is why I over pancakes. Like at the end of Pancake Day, I didn't know this feeling before, but I was like, I can't have another pancake. And I didn't realise that was a feeling, but apparently it was.
You were in a pancoma last night.
So we had for my dinner, I had a savoury one, but I had it with like egg and mushroom and cheese, and then rolled it up. That was quite nice. It was just like a butty.
Is that not just an omelette?
As a pancake? Yeah, well, sort of. It sort of became like an omelette then. But that's the challenge, to try and include in every meal. And then we had like a pudding one because they were good. And then for dinner, for tea, and this is tradition, my daughter loves it. Every time it's Pancake Day, she gets very excited about this particular pancake. And I wasn't really one for savoury pancakes before because I thought they were, not right. However, pancake is just Yorkshire pudding mix, let's be honest. So we make the pancake and then we cook some sausages and put it in, and then some peas, and then you roll it up and put some gravy on it and serve it with some mash. And it's a great dinner. It is a great dinner. The kids love it. It's just basically like Toad as a whole.
I think you've just destroyed the myth of the pancake. Like Pancake Day is just supposed to be a day where you just have some fatty food with a little bit of fruit to make you feel good on something that's already fatty and sugary, and that's absolutely fine. And you've gone, nah, we'll make it healthy, kids. We'll make it healthy.
It's not healthy, is it? Having sausage and gravy.
Well, I mean, it's healthier.
It's
healthier than loads of like cream and chocolate sauce and sugar.
We have the other version. We do have the other version as well. And to be fair, I'm going against my one spread base layer and fruit on top method now, because actually my favourite pancake is half chocolate spread, half peanut butter, and then some banana.
Oh,
because when you roll that up, you get the nice peanut buttery combo, which is like
I've not heard of this rolling up thing either. Like, I just stack them and then eat the stack.
That's American.
No.
That's American.
Oh, so do you? Right. So we need to clear this up. Who has the thin, real pancakes, and who has the chunky monkey ones that are smaller?
I love a chunky monkey.
I have the thin, real one. I'm British. I say I'm British, actually. It's more French, isn't it? Because it's a crepe.
I have the crepe style ones, the thin ones, and then you do roll them up, and then you cut them into little slithers, and you stand at the side of the cooker and wait for the next one, and wait for the next one.
It's quite an American thing to like stack them up, and then because there's the picture where you put the butter on and the metal syrup.
Yeah, but that's the way that I see
like
it. I see Pancake Day as like just a fat day. So you just literally just go all out, and it's a fat day.
No, it's a fat day. I have chocolate and delicious goodness in it. Although so listen up, listeners. I have this awesome, and by the time you listen to it, it'll be useless to you. But I mean, I guess there's other half terms. But I've come up with this fantastic half term trick because my husband goes to work in the afternoon, and I've got the kids to look after and to work full time, as lots of people do. So I've come up with challenges every day that the children have to do. So I have them all in an envelope, and they're very excited about it. And if they achieve all the challenges, then they get McDonald's at the end of the month. At the end of the week, that's the premise of it. But actually, for me as a parent, what happens is they're busy in the afternoon. They're working together as a team because you have to have teamwork to complete the challenge, and they're not in front of the TV, which is what I didn't want. They're in front of the TV a lot. I just didn't want. I wanted to try and find a way to get them out the TV for just a little bit of the day at least. So they have these challenges. So like Mondays was my daughter loves Harry Potter, so it was a Harry Potter challenge. So they had to make a potion. They had to demonstrate the magic working for me. So they had to figure out a magic trick that I could do with the potion and stuff. So that kept them entertained for ages. And my daughter's, there's a big age gap, so basically I'm tricking my daughter into babysitting my son, but essentially and then but yesterday's
when
challenge,
she listens to the podcast, she's going to be fuming about.
and she does listen to the podcast, sorry Lydia, but yesterday's challenge I themed it pancake wise. So their challenge was that they had to create a new topping combo and serve it to me, and I had to enjoy it for them to pass the challenge, because that negated them like putting cat food in it or anything gross like that. So anything I wouldn't like.
I love the fact that you think your children would do that to you.
When I read it out to them and said, "Oh, so you can't put anything horrible in, I have to like it," and my 5-year-old son went, "Oh." So I think I played blinder there with that disclaimer in there. But what I ended up with was the most sugary pancake in the world with a random mix of flavour, which, you know, I want them to pass the challenge, because especially if they don't pass this one, then they won't be bothered with the rest of the challenges, because there's no point in carrying on then, because you have to pass them all. So I was like, it's lovely. And it was for like maybe one bite, but not the whole pancake, because what was in this pancake was my failed fudge attempt that was still in the fridge and hadn't set, which was obviously fudge is just pure sugar, but it had like cinnamon and cranberries in it, and then just failed fudge in it. So they put elements of that in it.
You fudged the fudge.
Yeah, I fudged the fudge, yeah. And then some maple syrup, some chocolate chip, some blueberries, and some raisins. I feel like there was something else sugary in it. But anyway, it was just like a pure, you know, like when you've had too much sugar. I had that off one bite, and I was like, I'm going to have to finish this pancake. But I did it in stages throughout the day. So, like, it was like one bite, and I was like, lovely kids. You go and play now. You've passed the challenge. And then, like,
whilst I slyly just wipe this into the bin.
Pretty much. But it's a fantastic system, and it is working so far. Today's challenge, they've got to create a dinosaur play for me. Thursdays is it's the art challenge. So they have to create a portrait of a member of the family, and to pass the challenge, I have to be able to guess who the portrait is, which is going to be awkward for. I'll guess Lydia is.
It's got an arrow next to it saying "mummy." Did you guess?
For my 5-year-old. Anyone who has little children knows you get a lot of artwork sometimes, and you have to be like, "Oh yeah, what is it?" Like a lot of the time, without trying to hurt their feelings. But unfortunately, I haven't thought this through, so I'm going to have to guess who it is, and he'll be very disappointed if I don't. Because not only does he lose the challenge, I've also like I don't like his artwork. So that Thursday will be interesting.
It is a bit of a contentious subject, like it's like the baby debate, isn't it? Like all babies are good, and it's like, well, actually, some babies are pretty odd looking. Like,
not all babies are good looking.
Yeah, and it's the same with like kids' art. Like, let's be fair, like, all 30 of the kids, like any primary school teacher that looks at it must look at some of them and go, yeah, that's good, and then must look at the majority of them and go, that's absolutely terrible. Like, that's absolutely abysmal. Obviously,
well done, gold star.
But yeah, wow, look at that. It's terrible.
Well, I want to get your opinions on Friday's challenge, because Friday's challenge is very I might have gone too far with getting them to do stuff for me in the form of a challenge, because it's Foodie Friday for Friday's challenge, and they have to create their own restaurant and serve me a 3-course meal for tea.
Slave labour.
Well, in my mind, it was going to be really fun, because I played restaurants with them the other weekend, and like when I called them down to tea, I was like, "And what's your name, sir? Oh, you're not on the booking." And they loved it, and I like put them to the table, and they pretend, and we set it all up like a restaurant, and it was like Thai food. They were all over it. It was the most fun they'd had it all. So I thought, oh, this will be fun that we do it, and they get to create their restaurant. So when I come down after work, they can do the "Are you on the list, madam?" and Harry loves pretending to be like a waiter and stuff like that, and it'd be really fun. But then after I've written it and sealed it up, I was like, I might just make him make my tea now.
Harry loves pretending to be a waiter. Basically sounds like you've coerced your 5-year-old child into just collecting and bringing drinks to you all the time. Johnny's going to come home. Your husband's going to come home, and there's going to be one of your children on the floor, like cleaning. One of them, like hoovering out the car. The next door neighbour's child, like round the back, doing the lawn mowing. What is going on?
They're really working for this McDonald's. It will.
Look, it's worse. What's worse is you've made them do it to be fed. So you're actually saying if you don't do it, you won't get fed. I hope you've. Wow. Someone get this wrote down, please. This is an admission.
I had the best of intentions. I really wanted them to like play together nicely, to be working towards something with like teamwork, and not to be looking at the TV all the time. And they generally do enjoy getting their challenges, but I'm just wondering if I went too far with Friday's challenge.
Of course they do. But basically what I wanted to be weighted on hand and foot. And I wanted them to do all the housework. They're just those odd jobs that I want doing around the house. Like Harry's painting on next week. He's painting the spare room. Lydia's up in the loft. Like, she's actually on the roof. Like, we've got a few things. She's fixing the gutter in. And if they don't do it, they don't get fed.
Yeah. If there's any dentists out there or anybody who works for Childline who's listening to this podcast, Lizzie's actually a really, really good mummy. We just want to let you know.
Hannah, did you say dentist?
Well, yeah, with all the sugar that she's eating or feeding people.
I thought you were meant like, social services, but you said dentist instead. Because I was so confused. I was so confused. I was like, surely she means social services, not dentist.
No, Knowing her children based on the pancake, I can't imagine what this 3-course meal is. It's going to be like, would you like some sugar with your sugar and some extra sugar with your syrup? And that's what this 3-course meal is going to be.
Yeah. Mummy, would you like custard on your sausages?
I see you've got an awful lot of sympathy for the kids right now, but none of you have thought about the fact that I've got to eat what they cook.
That's true. They're going to get you back. Making me scrub the kitchen floor all day. Have this. Oh, what's in this sausage, Harry?
Hey, I didn't say it had to be like a fancy 3-course meal. It could probably be an apple to start with, like a sandwich for main, and then like a chocolate bar for pudding. I mean they had to like cook from scratch.
Oh, that sounds
class. It's whatever they want to serve in their restaurant.
Jokes on you when Lydia buys a Mackies on Friday night with her pocket money for her and Harry. That would be so good. She's like, oh yeah, Mum, what we decided was we didn't want to cook your 3-course meal, but we're having Mackies anyway, just me and Harry.
She can't order that without me. We're not in a place where you can order in McDonald's. We live in North Links in Broughton. You cannot order in Mackies.
What takeaways you got near you? What takeaways you got?
We've got nothing.
Oh, Lincoln's full of them. Lincoln's great.
You sat there with any takeaway in reach of you. If I go on that Just Eat app or something like that, I think I've got one Indian takeaway and that's it. And Hannah doesn't even have that.
It's got a food hygiene rating of 1 star.
Well, actually,
we don't have that.
You're not bad wrong. It's not the best.
Yeah, we can't get Just Eat. We can't get Deliveroo. Yeah, we cannot get.
We can't
any
get Deliveroo.
of them. Nothing. And even the restaurants that are here. So we do have a couple of takeaways in North Somercotes, which is like a 5-minute drive from us. They don't actually deliver. And then if you go the other way, it's not until you get to sort of like Tetney or Humberston or sort of Waltham, they don't deliver because it's just too far. It's like a 15-20 minute drive to takeaways. So yeah, we can't, unless we plan that we're having a takeaway, we have to pick it up ourselves and bring it back.
In lockdown, we had like a lot of our takeaways and stuff like that actually go, and they've got like websites now. So a lot of the pizza takeaways in Brick have websites where you can order online now that they didn't have before. Yeah. So actually, it's quite nicer for us because we used to have to, when you get in a takeaway and stuff, because we don't have these apps, you have to then go out and get cash and then go back at home, which also was pointless then having it delivered because you're already out there. So because there wasn't really the option to pay by card and stuff. So actually, lockdown has helped in a way, I guess, because it means they've all had to adapt digitally, and now we can buy our takeaway online and have it delivered and pay by card, which is amazing. So I mean, you won't understand these struggles, Danny, because you live in
I used to live out in the sticks. I used to live out in the sticks, and I moved to the city, and like now you can literally, you've got a mass amount of options, and you can just use Google Pay. You don't even have to look at your, you don't have to have anything. Like, I can't remember the last time I paid for something with cash, to be fair.
Dirty cash. Anyway, we're getting off topic. We're totally getting off topic. We're supposed to be talking about wellbeing, and all we've talked about so far is pancakes.
Well, I don't know. Having the kids distracted during half term really helped my wellbeing. I'm not gonna lie. It really did help my wellbeing.
But I suppose we should be talking about if, has anybody during this lockdown, last lockdown, have you picked up any new activities? Is there anything you want to try? What kind of things have you got apart from locking your children in the loft? What other things do you do for improving your well-being?
I don't lock my children in the loft. I need to make that very clear. That's never happened. It never will. We have a loft conversion in which my daughter is in.
We are building a pretty serious case against you right now. Like this is a comprehensive list.
Okay.
This is not okay. You're right.
Anyway, back to Hannah's question.
Yeah.
I haven't taken up anything massively new, although I would say I've walked more. My New Year's resolution, because I was very conscious not to make one that I would definitely drop straight away, because I did that in the past quite a bit. So my New Year's resolution was just to walk more, and I think I have done that. I've gone on longer walks more.
And got lost a lot more.
Yeah, lost a lot more. But yeah, it's been quite nice that. But I think for me, my well-being thing is swimming, and I can't do that right now. Yes. I think so. That's been my big big hit for me during lockdown. I just cannot wait to get back into a pool and swim, because for me, I could just swim for, I don't like to run, I don't like to do other stuff, but I love to swim, and that's massively probably hampered me.
Yeah, that brings me on to my new development, I suppose, that I love swimming. I'm not built for running, don't like running. Because me and Lizzie are the same person, we like and dislike exactly the same. Long lost twins.
We're so grateful to Lincoln City Foundation for bringing us together. It's like Parent Trap for the new age.
So I've discovered outdoor swimming or wild swimming, and that's going to be something that I take up when the weather gets a little bit better, because I'm not swimming through any frozen lakes or ripping myself to bits on ice and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to do that because I've been doing all the reading up on it in terms of it being good for your well-being, good for your circulation and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, I'm going to give that a try. So if there's any outdoor swimmers or wild swimmers, please do get in touch, because I need some tips and tricks. Please.
Well, that is definitely something that me and Danny were on about we wanting to join you with. So I think that'd be a nice a nice hook in for the listeners later down the line to find out how.
God, yeah.
Oh my God. I'm a little nervous, a little bit, I guess, because obviously there are some dangers with outdoor swimming and stuff like that. But I'm assuming
Sharks,
I'm putting my
crocodiles.
We don't live in Florida.
I meant more currents of the water and that kind of danger. But I'm
sharks and crocodiles are pretty current.
Hannah, I'm assuming you're going to do the research. Shall we go swim somewhere nice and safe?
I will, yes. Well, I've already been out. I went out at the weekend because, like you, I've been doing more walking. So I went out for a walk and coupled my walk with discovering some wild swimming sort of sites and venues and things like that. So, there's some really good ones, even if it's just sort of sort of canals that aren't used anymore and things like that, or just little dipping ponds and stuff that we can go in just to acclimatise, or even just a walk down beach and getting your feet wet so that you can acclimatise to cold water rather than getting in and going.
I am excited because there's some beautiful areas of Lincolnshire to swim in, so I think it will be really good. But yeah, the cold element for me is I'm going to have to invest in something.
Yeah.
Oh, because this obviously will be released on the 21st, but it has been Valentine's Day as well since we last spoke. And I'm interested to get your opinions, actually, because Valentine's Day just divides the nation, regardless of if you're in a relationship or not. So is it something that you guys have historically in the past celebrated, or do you find it too commercialised? Like, what's your Valentine's Day thoughts?
Yeah, we've not really done it too much, but then I fell into the trap, I think it was last year, where we're like, we don't do Valentine's Day because it's commercial, it's just a money-making scam, blah, blah, blah. And then my other half bought me a Valentine's card, and I'd not bought him anything, and I was like, so this year I was like, I made it explicitly clear that I was like, are we doing Valentine's Day? So that I could get an answer. And we were like, okay, we'll kind of do it, we'll sort of do it, yeah. So I went all out and I bought him, this is amazing, you'll appreciate this, Danny. So for Christmas, my other half got me a cool egg cup, and it's got like a little, it's an Aladdin themed one, and it's got a little magic carpet with the genie, and then you put the egg in, and then you put the genie's head on top, so it looks like the genie's like, whoa, he's floating. It looks amazing. And my other half doesn't have an egg cup, he just has a standard egg cup, like, just one of the little crockery ones. So for Valentine's Day, I went all out and I bought him, drum roll please, a Batman egg cup.
Batman is... Yeah, I wondered where you were going with that, because when you said Aladdin, I was like, yeah, I'm all right with that, but Batman, yeah.
And he's got a cape, and he's got like a little hat thing and his mask that you put over the top of the egg, so the egg looks like it's wearing a Batman mask. Called? Yeah, it's amazing. What's that called?
His thingy. It's got a name on it. Oh, I can't think what it is. It's not help. Is it a cowl? Is that what it's called?
A what?
Are you making it work?
It's quite possible that I am making that up, but I'm almost certain that that's what it's called.
Yeah.
So, Danny, as our standard bloke in this podcast, what's your Valentine's story?
really
How do you like being referred to as a standard
Yeah, I was about to say that. I
bloke?
really appreciate being called a standard bloke.
Sorry, that didn't come out right. Representing
It's okay.
mankind.
It's okay. That's getting your own back for him calling us ugly all the time.
Oh my God! Stop saying that. That's not going in.
I edit it. It's in.
By the way, that is a hell of a step up. You've said you've gone from standard man to representing mankind. Like,
yeah, no pressure.
like I'm selling Valentines to the aliens.
What's the mankind thoughts on Valentine's Day?
Yeah, just representing. No, I think. You do you. I think for me, I have done in the past, but maybe not to the degree that everybody else has done. And I would just say, not the cheesy tagline of every day is like Valentine's, because relationships have peaks and troughs. But I think it's nice to do something, but not necessarily on that day. Like I wouldn't feel like. Sometimes I would do, and sometimes I'd be like, yeah, that's nice, but then. Certainly not. I don't think I'd go out anymore on a Valentine's Day, to like a restaurant or whatever. No. I think I quite like the idea of each person doing something or something like that. Or something.
Enjoying each other's company is. Yeah. I think that's another thing that probably COVID and lockdowns taught us, that sometimes we do just need to stop and we do just need to appreciate each other's company and appreciate each other's space as well. Like, I mean, we did Valentine's Day on Saturday because we were like, well, we'll be getting ready for work and stuff on Sunday night, so that sort of takes away from it. So we did it on Saturday night, and it's perfectly fine for my other half. He's doing a course, so he did a couple of hours of coursework, and then he had a couple of hours on his PlayStation, and like, that's fine. It's fine. Like, people need to understand that to be in love with someone or to appreciate someone, you don't actually have to be stuck to the hip all the time. I think you were saying earlier.
Oh no, absolutely.
You can go off and do your own thing, and then you come together and you appreciate the time that you got together a little bit more, probably.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you do you.
It's a lot more difficult in lockdown, obviously, to be apart, but I think there's still a way to do it. And I think so for me, I love Valentine's Day. I'm like a crazy romantic, not to the degree of like I don't spend money on it, but I think for me, I think it's nice to have that day where you just put aside that that time to spend together. And I guess, like you say, it could be on any day, but it's just nice to have that day in the calendar where you're like, right, okay, well, this is the, because life gets on top of you sometimes, and you just do it, especially I've got kids and stuff like that. It's sometimes the romance dies a little bit in like a family environment, and it's just
something penciled in is a little bit easier, maybe.
Exactly, and I guess the novelty of because we obviously always eat with the kids and stuff like that, but the novelty of having tea later when they're in bed and just having it like a conversation between me and my husband is just nice. It is just nice, and it's not something that you always have time to do. So I like Valentine's Day because I think it's nice to do that. I mean, we always have the discussion like you do, Hannah, like beforehand, like, right, so what we're doing this Valentine's Day, we usually make each other a card. We've always made each other a card, so we've not even spent money there. And occasionally, if we're feeling a bit frivolous, we'll attach no more than £5 gift or something on it. We never go all out for it. But I think for me, the joy of Valentine's Day is actually doing the things that don't cost any money, just that time together. So the money that we spent this year was on getting a cook at home meal and from a restaurant that we cooked at home and stuff. But we did this thing where we had a couples quiz, so that was quite fun. I won, obviously.
I've got 36 questions for you, Lizzie.
Well, we had all these questions and stuff like that in it, and I won because Johnny lies. We have this debate all the time. We played Mr. and Mrs. once, and one of the questions was, how does your partner like their coffee? My husband doesn't have coffee, he has tea. So I answered, not at all. He likes it in the pot unmade. He answered with 2 sugars. And I was like, so what? And he was like, well, if I was to have coffee, that's how I would have it. And I was like, That wasn't the question. So I get really angry about it. But I hold on to that bit of knowledge now. So occasionally I'll make him that coffee and be like, because you love it so much. And things like
that sounds like the kind of thing that happened like 9 years ago, and you still bring up.
It was at least 3 years ago.
By the way, Lizzie, this again, Lizzie, we're writing this down as well. Like, this is going down on that sheet. It sounds like there's a right little dictatorship going on over there.
No, I just want him to answer the question properly.
Yeah, in the way that you want him to answer the question in the way that you want him to.
He doesn't have coffee.
This is going to the bad husbands club.
He doesn't have coffee.
He doesn't have coffee because I don't allow him to have coffee.
No, we were playing against another couple and we dropped points unnecessarily, and I'm just not having that. He doesn't have coffee and he shouldn't lie in a game.
I didn't have you down as competitive, Lizzie. I did not have you down as competitive.
Oh, really competitive.
I had it down as competitive.
I didn't have you down as it for some reason.
The problem with that is I'm rubbish at a lot of things, but competitive. So I don't like to go bowling.
So perpetually disappointed. Really competitive, but perpetually disappointed.
Always angry. I play bowling, but I'm really rubbish at it because I've got, again, no hand-eye coordination, so I always gutter ball it. So I get really angry for playing bowling without the barriers up for a start. And because I'm competitive, I'm playing bowling to win. And it really annoys me because I'm not very good at it. So I don't win, so I'm always angry.
To be fair, I know exactly what you mean. I'm extremely competitive and probably turn into a bit. Well, yeah. It can be the person that means the most in the world to me, but I'm really competitive. So like all those things that are forgotten, and it's very much like, look, it's me versus you, and I'm going to destroy you.
Yes, which I will tell you now. So on our second date, I think it was. So we decided we wanted to do outdoorsy things, and I suppose when you're dating, you don't go round to parents' houses and stuff because you're not at that stage. So we decided to go bowling for our second date. And me being quite competitive, and then my other half is also competitive, but he wanted to be the gentleman, and he was like, in the back of his mind, he's like, I'm going to take it easy on her. I'm not very good at bowling, so she's probably going to win anyway. But you won, well done, that kind of stuff. No. He got a strike pretty much every time he threw the bowling ball down the lane. Absolutely annihilated me, got the best and he's going, I don't usually play like this. Obviously it's our second date, and I'm like, you clearly do play like this. I was absolutely livid. It was our second date and he absolutely annihilated me at bowling and then pretended that he wasn't good.
How are you still together?
I know. I could not believe it.
As he told you that he'd never he didn't really do it. He's never really done it before. Is that the moment where he whipped out one of those bowling ball little sort of cleaners and just started polishing the ball every time before he? Yeah. And he went back to he went back to the car and he got a glove out and his own bowling ball.
Yeah. And I'm like, I want to believe that you're really bad at this, but there's a few times. No, to be fair, that when we went again, afterward, when we were properly dating and we were a couple and stuff, we have been bowling since. And
I can't believe you got past that second date, if I'm honest.
I know. No, I'm not sure. How did that happen? But yeah, we've been again, and he is atrocious. It was genuinely just a fluke. And yeah, he's horrendous, and I have won every bowling game since. Yeah, you go me. And on that note, shall we introduce our guest?
Yes, we've got some lovely wellbeing chatter to come up now. It was a great interview. I humiliate myself a little bit more while telling stories about our exercise fails, so enjoy.
Okay, so we're speaking to Vicki, who is the owner of the Seascape Cafe at the North Sea Observatory in Chapel St Leonard's. Hello, Vicki.
Hello.
welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome to the madhouse.
Have you travelled far?
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? You don't have that conversation anymore of like, oh, how was traffic? What time did you set off this morning? Because I'm still in my pajamas.
Might have been a rocky road from the bedroom to the downstairs. Like, you don't know.
yeah, you don't know. No, she's she's actually there. She's at the North Sea Observatory, aren't you, today, Vicky?
Yes, I am. I thought I'll get in the zone and I'll be here doing my thing.
Yeah. And there's some nice views there, like, because I should probably point out that I go to the North Sea, or did before lockdown, used to go to the North Sea Observatory to go to yoga sessions, which is, obviously, Vicky, you're going to tell us a bit more about that later, but I used to go to the North Sea Observatory to do yoga sessions, and it were on an evening, and it is so nice because you've got that big, I don't know if it's got a name, but you've got that big room that's got like all glass windows, and it overlooks the beach, and it's so nice.
That's the art gallery. It's actually used for people to come along and exhibit their work, so it's a pretty cool room. It's versatile.
It's a lovely. So do you have like local artists and things like that there? Is that
local artists, universities, all types of people come along and do stuff. The Drill Hall, Lincoln, people like that come along and do exhibitions.
Oh, fantastic. So it is an actual wellbeing room then, actually. I didn't think of it like that.
It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It's better than being called the big room.
Yeah.
The big room with the big window. Yeah. No, it is a lovely room. Obviously, when we can go back out again, then I would genuinely advise anybody to go and visit because it's such a nice venue.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, your chips are amazing in the cafe.
It's all about the chips.
Actually...
Yeah, I love the chips. They do an amazing wrap with some really nice chips. Like I've been a few. I mean, myself and Lizzie are fans of cake.
We have lots of cake.
Yeah, and you've got some real good cakes and you've got some real good chips, so it's a winner for me.
I think it's a really good measure of a place of how good their chips are. Like, I think, there's a few places I know that I like to go to, and it is usually based on how good their chips are. What do you do to your chips to make them so good, Vicky?
That'd be talent.
Secret. Yeah. I like that.
Sounds really like, bad.
No. Sounds like
give away the secret.
No, you can't.
I don't want everybody having my chips, do I?
Exactly.
Yeah, if you've got the best chips in the area, you've got to keep that secret, I guess.
Yeah.
Can we just rewind? Because it sounds like I don't like cake. Like you two, you definitely just said, yeah, me and Lizzie are a fan of cake. Either you forgot I'm here, or I don't like cake. And...
No, I didn't say you didn't like cake, but you either like cake or you're a fan of cake.
Yeah.
And I think me and Hannah are a fan, whereas you just like it.
No, I'm okay. But it depends on the cake.
Okay, Vicky, what's your best-selling cake?
Like we make a mean rocky road. But
sounds like Danny's a fan of that.
That shouldn't go on the podcast, should it?
But then we do like Biscoff cake and those types of things. So.
Nice. Oh, that is some nice cake game.
Yeah.
I do. I think my favourite, actually not technically a cake, more of a pudding actually, but I'm a banoffee pie kind of girl. Really, that's my A game. Cake.
Nice.
Pie, dessert. Yeah.
My birthday every year I get a banoffee pie. That's the kind of cake, and I'm not afraid to admit that I've eaten entire banoffee pies to myself before. So I don't do cake that often, but when I do it, I'll just do just all of it.
But I suppose you're quite lucky, Vicky, in the fact that you've got such nice coastal walks, so you can actually burn off the cake.
Yeah, so the North Sea Observatory is actually the gateway to the coastal country park. And that kind of reaches all the way up to Sandylands, Sutton-on-Sea, and goes out inland. But sort of within that distance, there's lots of country walks, nature reserves filled with wildlife, lots of sandy beaches. So we're in a really cool place, to be fair.
Yeah, 100%.
So my question to you, Vicky, would be,
a bit of a personal question, but also I guess at the Seascape Cafe, what kind of activities do you do to keep physically active and fit? And have they changed over the past sort of 18 months due to the lockdown? Have you been inspired by anything? Yeah, if that makes sense.
I suppose for me it's sort of more about well-being. And myself, I'm no means like super fit. And I do have my days where I sit in my pajamas all day. But I think physically, I like to walk a lot. And obviously, being where we are, there's lots of planned walks and there's loads of stuff to explore and do. I do yoga, only a little bit though. But I do think things like that are quite important. And then I guess I'm one of those people that will put on a few songs in a room and then have a good dance around to try and exert some energy. And then I guess I do things like jigsaws and read and all that kind of thing, really.
So
I love a good jigsaw. I
guess lots of what I'm hearing there, Vicky, is that like lots of the things that you do have like a real mindfulness sort of element to them.
Definitely, yeah.
And I imagine that's like I know we often joke to Hannah about where she lives. That is purely banter between the three of us, but it does seem really idyllic, like where you work, where you spend your days, and like you said, all those planned walks. And then I guess sometimes you probably just go off on the little random walk, I guess.
Yeah.
But it must be a really nice space to do that.
Yeah. I do think that we're really lucky in Lincolnshire alone, though, because we're quite rural and within a very short distance you can be in an amazing space, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I don't know how familiar you are with Lincoln itself, but where I moved to last summer, literally 2 minutes away, whenever I go for a run, there's the West Common.
I know it.
So obviously got all the horses in it, and it looks incredible, and it's kind of in the you can sort of see up to the cathedral, and it's really, really nice. Both like summer, winter, it's really nice.
Do you think as well, though, we in Lincolnshire, we've got towns that are extremely pretty as well. So even if you can't be in the green areas, some of the built-up areas are also really nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think so. Obviously, Brigg is where I'm from, and I think that's a beautiful town. It's like a nice historic thing. There's cobbled streets as you go up the high street. It is, I think, beautiful, as well as obviously Lincoln as a whole is a stunning city.
Yeah, I agree.
I used to, so I feel your pain with how busy it can get running a cafe and things like that, because I actually used to run a cafe in Alford.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you know that about you?
I did, yeah. I had my own business and I ran a cafe with my mum and dad. I had a little family business, and I feel your pain that like it is busy and people think, oh, you own a shop and you own a cafe, it must be such an idyllic life. And you think, oh my word, like when I've got 10 different orders coming out of my ears, like it can get quite intense. And I think you've got the perfect balance there, because you've got North Sea Observatory, you've got the idyllic setting, and so you can sort of chill and work.
Yeah. I mean, we quite often get there for sort of the sunrise. So you've sort of gained the energy before you even start a busy day.
So you mentioned that you like yoga, even if it is just in little bits. I suppose it's that importance of anything is better than nothing, isn't it, in terms of mental health, physical health, and just general well-being. So why do you think, because I know you run yoga sessions, did run face-to-face yoga sessions, but obviously now you've got the online ones. So why do you think yoga's sort of taken off, particularly in the area that you're in?
I'm not so sure if it's just in the area, but I just think, I don't know, it's become, I wouldn't say trendy, but I think because of lockdown, everybody just, I don't know, the mindfulness aspect, but also like yoga gives you positive benefits like to the mind, body, emotions, and it's fun and effective, beats stress, and literally anybody can do it at any age of any ability.
Yeah. So I've mentioned or alluded to that I did go to the North Sea Observatory for yoga sessions with Irene. So I've just got to give a shout out to Irene because she's incredible, isn't she? She's just
amazing.
Such a human being. She's absolutely incredible. And I think it's Irene that's doing the online ones that you're running.
Yeah, so we're obviously hosting it for Irene because Irene, in her words, is nearly 70 and she's got no idea about technology. So it's kind of a team effort to use the space at the observatory, so the background of the East Coast, and then Irene doing her thing with the yoga.
Interestingly, after a conversation we had with Danny on the last podcast, do you know if anyone has ever fallen asleep during any of the yoga sessions?
I mean, I've been close. Irene is the best yoga teacher ever. Like, I'll be completely honest. I'm a bit of a sort of fitness instructor snob, and if somebody does something wrong, if somebody does something wrong, yeah, it is.
Apparently it is now.
And I get really et up when fitness instructors don't do a proper warm-up or they don't do a proper cool-down and stuff like that. And Irene is fantastic. Like, she does a very thorough warm-up. She always has alternatives for making it making it easier, making it harder. She always cares about the individual, and I think that for me is more beneficial than the actual session itself, because I actually really enjoy just being in her presence. And I've been really close at end of some sessions when she's just letting us listen to sea and it's getting dusk and you know that you've got that beautiful scenery, and yeah, I could quite easily just
fall asleep.
Yeah.
On the subject of, still saying with the subject of exercise and well-being and things like that, there's obviously, this is quite a passionate subject for me, but diets. I often get into conversations with family members and friends about how frustrating the idea of a diet is, and because a diet for me has to have an end point. It has to be a time frame. That's what a diet is, but it should really be about lifestyle choices and things that are sustainable for a long period of time. If it's too radical a diet, you're never going to stick to it. You're just going to fall back, which is why diets are proper fads. Like they come in and out, and they're designed to make you go from one to another, and it's an industry where there's so much money in it. But I guess for you, working in the industry that you've worked in, and I guess for you personally as well, Vicki, have you come across any fads that you would avoid, or anything perhaps actually that you've taken apart a little bit and gone, actually I quite like that?
To be honest, I haven't really done so much dieting, but I've done things where I've bought pieces of exercise equipment and things as a fad, and then you use them several times and then never use them again. I've done things like that. And then also I've gone and bought sort of a blender and done juicing diets and things like that. But I think with me, if I stuck to a diet, then it would be fine, but I'm not very good at sticking to things. So I think just healthy eating and, that kind of thing, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the thing with a diet, isn't it? Like, diets is sometimes so far removed from what you do that, of course, you're never going to stick to it, because it seems so, so radical. Whereas, like you said, healthy lifestyle choices, even if you make them over a period of time rather than like wholesale, right? And you do this now, like, you're more likely to live a life where, you can eat, those cakes, banoffee pie in one sitting.
Yeah.
But like, that you can do that because, you've eaten pretty much healthily.
I mean, something that I do follow, but not religiously, is the NHS have an app for healthy eating and exercise. And I think somebody like that telling you what to do and how much exercise to do, I think is quite a good thing.
Yeah, it's powerful, isn't it? Powerful, them doing it, because there's a lot of misdirection and misleading, particularly in terms of social media, isn't there? Like,
definitely. Yeah,
I love that you said that you've been out and bought that random bit of equipment from the weird and wonderful aisle at certain supermarkets that you just get drawn in.
Or, off one of the shopping channels, like a Thigh Master or a ab roller, or
I have one of those. Not the out roller, but I've got when it was quite popular at one point. It was one of them plates that you can stand on and you spin. You're supposed to do that spinny thing. I've got one of them gathering dust in the garage somewhere because I had the best of intentions, but I thought I could do it while watching TV. I think that was the plan. But sometimes you want to sit on the sofa while watching TV.
I remember I spent a fortune on a vibrating plate that you stand on.
Oh yes,
yes, we've all been there. You don't have to be ashamed, Vicky. We've all been there.
I suppose it brings me quite nicely on to my question, because obviously a lot of these things are bought sort of at the start of the year when people are making themselves some healthy resolutions. I make one every year to move into a size 10. I think it might be physically possible for me to be a size 10 at this point as a result. But what would you say to those people that have started those resolutions and that have started with the best of intentions to make those healthy changes to their lives, that are maybe feeling a little bit demotivated now it's come to February?
So I guess that not one size fits all. Some people are able to really stick to these things, aren't they? And some people are not. And I have my fair share of pajama days, like I said, but I would say that I would never have a negative approach to those people. Like, I would never say, instead of sat feeling sorry for yourself all day on a sofa, watching TV, get up and actually do something, I'd probably be more inclined to say, I think you'll do really well and you've shown some real commitment and seen great results in the last month, and you know how good that made you feel. Maybe you should mix up what you're doing and maybe ump your drive and kickstart your motivation again, because you're doing amazing, you know.
Yeah, I think that's a great message, that to be fit and healthy, you don't have to be going out and, you know, running marathons every day or doing physical activity every day. You can you can have a pajama day and you can have that bit of cake, and that's all part of your well-being. And I think it's brilliant that you've said that. That's really good.
But just don't be so hard on yourself, and everybody's going to have a down day or a down week, you know.
Yeah, I think that's important as well. People can make these resolutions, and sometimes they can be completely, if you set yourself an unreachable one, you're only going to end up being disappointed and maybe not carry on. But just to know that actually, and sometimes you'll start off with the best of intentions saying, I want to run every day, and actually that's not always achievable. Like, it, you know, it should be something that actually you can fit into your life. Like, so maybe not something so concrete as I need to run every day and eat 10 pieces of fruit, but more like I need to just run more this year than I did before. But I need to just be slightly more active, or, you know, maybe less banoffee pie, not the whole banoffee pie, just half.
But I think the beginning of this new year is so much tougher than any other new year that we've had as well, isn't it?
So we're going to talk about exercise mishaps. If you've ever had an exercise mishap at some point, we've all done it, haven't we, where we've slip tripped or fallen in a gym in front of everybody, or it's usually the really attractive trainer and you fall over or walk into a door in front of him or something like that. We've all done it, so let's share, guys.
So I don't, only other than clothing, and then kind of some really, really embarrassing mishaps that are probably a bit rude.
We'll censor it.
Just like passing wind, like when you're doing yoga or something.
That's quite common, isn't it, actually? This is the relaxing.
Joe Wicks did it famously recently, didn't he? And apparently all the people that were watching it were like in hysterics laughing. And he was so embarrassed because obviously I don't know how many people tune in, but it's like in the millions, isn't it? Or has been. And he's literally, and it's really loud, and he's doing a stretch and he's gone, and just everyone's in hysterics.
There is actually a yoga move that helps you pass wind.
Is there? I need to get Irene to teach me that one.
Maybe she doesn't want to teach everyone because maybe she didn't want the whole room filled with that kind of.
So the art gallery of flatulence is not what she wants.
I've got a good one that's horrifically embarrassing because actually really embarrassing things happen to me on a regular basis. So I could get wax lyrical about this all the time. But I'd say my most embarrassing one. So I'm someone who really likes swimming. So I've been probably quite inactive over lockdown because we've not had any access to to any our swimming pools at all for quite a while. So I'm really missing getting into a pool. I could swim for hours. But so I was swimming away, and occasionally, for those people who swim quite a while, your neck can start to hurt when you do a breaststroke for a while. So I thought, what I'll do is I'll flip on my back and do a bit of backstroke. And
Wait. So you're that person who goes swimming and doesn't get their hair wet and just sticks your head
No,
under
I do get my hair wet.
Okay.
I do get my hair wet. I
Just
have goggles.
checking.
I do like to do it. But yeah, so my neck was hurting for a little bit. So I thought I'd, do a bit of backstroke, and I'm backstroking away happily. And I thought, I just feel a bit cold. And then I looked down and realised my boob had fully popped out.
Yeah, that's what I meant about craving.
I don't know how long for. All I know is when I, quickly stand up and sort myself out, that the lifeguard won't look at me in the eye. And so I could have been swimming for, ages, just back and forth, going around, just all on display. Just and I couldn't look anyone in the eye then. I was thinking, do I carry on swimming? Do I go and get changed? Which, by the way, on this particular one, shamed, went back to the changing room to find that my pants were on the radiator, because obviously fallen out of my bag at some point. And the lifeguard, I thought, I'll put on the radiator. So not only had I embarrassed myself in the pool, I then had to go and pick up.
I like the idea that this lifeguard is like really thinking that maybe you're trying to get his attention. Like, by extreme measures, just by, well, the pants didn't work, so I'm going to do this. Like, this will get his attention.
The pants that they wear would not have attracted his attention. So it's like, I thought, I can't humiliate myself anymore. I'm going to have to go in and declare these as my pants. Changing room with people. It was awful. It's my local swimming pool, though, and I obviously still go back there, and I think they've hopefully forgotten.
Well, they had until you've just declared it on this podcast.
There'll be someone listening to this and going, oh my God, it's her. There will have been loads, but I think the most recent one for me was last year, making a bet with someone. So I went to the Peak District for the day, went to Thor's Cave, like beautiful place, and made a bet at the beginning of the day and said, I bet that you end up falling over before I do. And it was literally
fate.
Yeah, and it was because I'm sometimes cocky when it comes to stuff like that, and
sometimes,
and it got all the way through the day, and getting a little bit more adventurous, the two of us, and then right at the end of the day, I've literally said it, and I've gone, wow, like at least none of us have fallen over yet, and then as I said it, I was going down this gravel bit and slipped and did that classic whoa, thing that you do, and then landed full on my bum and slid down, and the car journey home was painful because I had scratch marks, and it was really painful. But that was literally right at the end of the day, and obviously I remember just sitting there. When you sit there and you just laugh. And you just sit there and laugh at yourself. It's almost laughing, but could go into crying. But it's you just sat there laughing, and I was just like, don't even say it.
Yeah, I've face planted myself into mud many times, fallen over. There's a point in that you just have to sit there until you actually, decide what to do with yourself. Yeah. And you get back up. How do I style this out? Is it possible? All these things are going in your brain. Is it possible to get up and be like, ta-da? Am I that confident? Or no, usually not.
No. The answer is once just a quick one. When I were a kid, obviously I lived in Yorkshire, but we actually did used to come over here to Caravan Thought Weekend.
She's got more Yorkshire again.
Yeah.
I was going to say, hold on a minute. Are you Yorkshire?
And I remember one time when my uncle was bringing us over, because my mum and dad were working late, so my uncle was bringing me and my cousin over, and we stopped at Covenham Reservoir, and we used to stop and run up the big sort of side steep hill that's up the side of it, run around the reservoir, have a play, and it was sort of just to blow off steam, because it were a long journey, that hour and a half journey from Yorkshire into Lincolnshire,
miles away.
miles away. But yeah, we used to stop at Covenham Reservoir, and we'd run up the hill, me not realising that it was wet, it was slippy. And for some unknown reason, my cousin, who was older than me and taller than me, decided to shove me down the hill in front of him. So obviously my little legs are doing like proper Flintstones movements, going crazy. And he's going, move, run out the way. Shoves me and I go face first, full on Superman, like all down the mud down my face, down my clothes. I had no clean clothes until my mum and dad came the next morning. So I'm like, oh no, and I'm sapping wet. And I go up to my uncle who was sat in the car watching us, trying not to laugh, but also seething because he's got a new car and I now have to get in this car. And he's rooting through his car for anything and made me sit on the tiniest plastic bag, and I wasn't allowed to move for the rest of the journey because I was just caked in mud. Horrendous. That was my punishment. Sit there, don't move.
So Vicky, we've got one final question for you, and it's something that we ask all of our guests on here. Hopefully you knew about this before it came, so you wouldn't have to make it up on the fly. But like I made our last guest do. So if you were to have a dinner party and you can invite any 3 people, they can be alive or dead, who would you have and why?
So first would be David Attenborough.
Yes!
That's Hannah's, that one.
And the reason why is I was actually in his company in 2012, but I never got to speak to him. But I remember being like 10 meters away from him in this room, and the feeling in my body, it's like going to watch your favorite sports team and chanting, like it was amazing. So probably him, I think.
Everybody, all 3 of us went like instantly. Everyone was just aghast.
We're all big fans. If you come out with Stephen Fry next, you've absolutely won us over.
But no pressure.
So, Vicky, you want? It's your dinner party.
The next one would actually be Rick Stein, because I'm obsessed with him, and I'm obsessed with learning about fish and how to cook it at the minute, because we're taking on a new cafe soon that's going to be fish related. So I'm a bit.
Is that breaking news?
No, it's all over the county. The news is the county council have built a new site at Huttoff Car Terrace on the coast, and that's going to be a Seascape sister.
Fantastic. Breaking news.
And then I love music, but there's so many to choose from, but I saw Dolly Parton at Glastonbury and she blew me away. So, and she's funny and humorous, and I think she'd get on with Rick and Dave.
Yeah, you're the first one who's thought about, will my guests get on? Yes. Dexter's joining in too.
I think she'd be a really good guest. Every interview and stuff I've heard with her, even though she's such a mega star, she just somehow seems so down to earth at the same time, which is just amazing. Plus, I'd actually quite like to meet her and thank her for the imagination library, because my son's loved every single book he's got, which is fantastic.
Yeah, she's all about promoting human welfare and stuff. She's a humanitarian.
She's a wonderful human being.
I love the fact, Vicky, that you're already calling them Rick and Dave as well. Like, all right, Dolly, just come and sit down. This is Rick, this is Dave. Like Dave's the local painter or something.
Right, so that's absolutely fantastic. Before you go though, I think we always give our guests a chance to promote anything that they want to promote, so anyone who's listening that might want to track on down and check anything that you've talked about, so this is your opportunity to promote anything that you want.
So it's quite difficult at the minute to promote anything with actual Seascape, because we can't be encouraging people to obviously go too far to do their exercise and stuff. But if you are local to obviously the area, we're going to be open doing some takeaway stuff over the half term, and then obviously the yoga is going to be going on once a week, and then we're going to drip feed in some sunrise yoga over the next couple of months as well.
Sounds magical. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, well, that about wraps us up for this episode. Thank you for listening. Just one more thing before we go. We have an education information evening coming up on the 4th of March. If you would like any information about our post-16 education options at Lincoln City Foundation, then please do click on the link that Lizzie is going to put in the comments. Thank you. Bye.